Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to another episode of the SFL podcast. Y'all know who I am. I'm Mighty RX, Max Paul, owner of the Alaska Storm. My usual cohort is not with me. He's on assignment for the third straight week. They really must like his work. Like, he must be, like, he's the next, like, okay, I won't say Keith Olbermann. Chris Berman. Back. You know, one of those. But in the meantime, I found some more than capable replacements. We have on the y'all know our favorite Englishman from across the pond. We have Liam Crowther with us today. Liam, how are you doing?
Yeah, great. Thanks, Marty.
Also on the call with us today, we have the owner of another team, the owner of a team that's not on U.S. ground, who is going to be represented in the Tyler game. Mr. Ramos, owner of the Aztecs. Ramos, what you got, man? How you looking?
I'm looking good, man. The team is looking good, and we are excited for the championship game in about 10 days.
Awesome. And last, definitely not least, we are blessed this evening, folks. We have the head roughneck in the house, Mr. Stephen Mullinax himself. Steve, what's going on?
I'm just here to answer one question. Who's sexier, Big Sexy Alice Dominguez or Max Paul? I'm going with the latter.
I appreciate the vote of confidence, but hey, he's not named Big Sexy for he's named that for a reason. Okay.
I guess I can leave now.
Yeah. Moving on. We're going to touch upon the games that happened last Monday, because Monday night was an eventful one. We had two games, one go into overtime, one go into double overtime. So those games were good. The offenses came to play. Then the defenses showed up out of nowhere. Hey, we want for some of this party too. So we're going to start on the East Coast, where the Chicago Wildcats prevailed over the Atlanta Swarm in double OT. See, they were having so much fun in regulation. They said, "Nah, we can't end the party here. Let's keep it going." And after the first overtime, they said, "Nah, this is too much fun. Let's keep it going." And eventually, they say, "No, we got to go home. Like, these people are tired in the stands. They want to see someone crowned winner." And so in double overtime, the Wildcats prevailed 22-16. We'll start with Liam. Liam, did you get to watch the game? And what'd you think of it?
Yeah, it was, double overtime, first double overtime game in SFL history in the postseason. So I think both conference championship games definitely lived up to their billing. This one, it's sorry, mate. Hang on a sec. I'm having a bit of a break-up on my line for a sec here. Hello?
We're here.
Yeah, hold on a sec. Come back to me. I'll
come back to you. We'll come back to you, Liam. Ramos, what do you think of that ball game, man?
Crazy ball game. At one point, I thought that the Swarm had the game, and then no, it's the Wildcats, and it's like, no, it's the Swarm, no, it's the Wildcats again, and it was crazy, but it was a great game. So happy for Shan, and heartbroken for Mark, obviously. It's the way it goes, man. I love the game. Double overtime. You don't get many double overtimes in the SFL or in any football. So it was fantastic.
Steven, what did you think of the ball game?
Well, in just an overall scope, I think this is two of the greatest games that we've ever had as a league. In conference championship games, they were just wonderful for both games to go into overtime. One into double overtime just shows what kind of parity we have in the league. The level of competition that we have within the league is just increased with every expansion group added. And in this double overtime game was the culmination of that. You had two stalwarts going back and forth at each other. You know, I'm sure like you and Remus Lynn is, we get frustrated watching our own games. I was really frustrated watching this one because it just felt like there were so many missed opportunities and so many times where missed field goals or an interception in the end zone or something, just a little play, and it just had such a big impact by the time that this game was in double overtime. Looking at the numbers after the game, they're almost equal down the center. 438 yards of offense from Atlanta, 413 from Chicago. The time of possession was almost equal as well, 27 minutes on both sides. The thing that was really key for me was the fact that the Wildcats only rushed for 52 yards and still won this game. 52 yards rushing, and you win the game. It just tells you what a great passing game E.T. King had, although only one touchdown pass for E.T. King, and that came with the final play. So, I mean, it kind of gives you an idea of the kind of back and forth this match was. Two things also stood out to me. Alex Eli, what a game. What a time to have 14 receptions, 166 yards in that game-winning touchdown. He was clutch there in the last overtime in that last series. They don't get past – he makes a clutch third down catch to get them into field goal range, and then the following play, the big touchdown catch right over the helmet of the Atlanta defender. Just an awesome pass. So, excuse me, I'm losing my voice, buddy.
Okay, fair enough. That game, coming into that game, I got to speak to Shan going into it and afterwards, and he knew Atlanta. Atlanta was kind of this whole season. They were feast or famine. What I mean by that, forget big play. They're a gigantic play team. When they score, it's usually off something ridiculously dramatic. 80-yard run, 80-yard bomb, interception return that goes like for 50 or 60 yards. And he told me his game plan coming in is to force them to, take the shorter things, force them to have to link plays together for them to have scoring drives. And that's where defensively, Chicago was aiming. And conversely, Atlanta's defense was one of the best in the league, with spearheaded by Ludacris and Mamuna Ajaloni back there at free safety. So the fact that E.T. didn't get his scoring touchdown till the deciding moments of double OT, attest to the fact that Atlanta's defense was ferocious all season long, and even more so in this game. And the fact that they were able to overcome that missed field goal in regulation to still find a way to pull this one out. Hats off to the Wildcats, and hats off to the Swarm as well for having an awesome sophomore season. Now, mind you, right now they might not want to hear that because the wounds are still fresh, but the way to bounce back from that opening campaign that had to miss the playoffs, and that's year two, man. They were one ball bouncing the correct way from being in the championship game. So kudos to Chizzy, BDG, Hollywood, and the rest of the Swarm, man, for such a well contested ball game and for having such a good season. Liam, you back with us?
Yeah, I'm back now, Marty. Sorry about that.
No worries.
Yeah, it was a big game for BDG Hollywood again and the Swarm, but unfortunately for them, they just weren't able to put together. They weren't able to put together that last push, and Chicago with that drive in the second period of overtime, it really killed them off, and they finished it off in style with the passing touchdown to I think it was Eli, but E.T. King gets to the championship game. It looked like he was well on course to do it last season. He got the MVP trophy as a consolation. I think most people probably say that Ray Bentley's going to be the shoo-in for the MVP this year, but at least E.T. King gets to go up against them in the championship game. So it's a big win for Chicago. I think it's a testament to the strength of expansions within the SFL that teams like Chicago are able to come in and be competitive in their first season. But I'm sure Ramos will be able to tell us about just how well they've prepared for Chicago. There's a lot of tape on Chicago that they can look at. Western and Eastern Conference teams which haven't played each other, and it's going to be a great game. I think that in the championship on Twitch TV on the Wednesday.
Awesome way to wrap that one up. On the other side of the bracket, we had the red hot Vancouver Legion headed south to the Aztec, to the house that Ramos built. And they came up a hair short and lost. The Legion lost 23-20 in overtime. Steven, if you'd like to do the honors on this one and open up, what'd you see in this ball game?
Yeah, I saw a lot of running. Ray Bentley, 38 attempts for 236 yards and 2 touchdowns. To me, he just helped Mexico control the time of possession. Outrushed Vancouver, who's a solid rushing team. Outrushed them by over 130 yards, which is crazy. But the key to this Mexico City team, in my opinion, is that running game. If they get that running game going, they're hard to stop. And that it really shadows, Ray Bentley's great year really shadows what a good year Matt Wilson has had. Currently at the end of the season, 3rd in quarterback rating, over 3,000 yards passing, 34 touchdowns, only 23 interceptions. Going into the championship game, for me, I really think Matt Wilson's the key, and him getting it out to all of his different – he's got 3 star wide receivers, and a star tight end, so he's got plenty of people to throw to. So for me, this game was all about the domination on the ground for Mexico City, and being able to pull it out in overtime was I'm just really congratulatory towards Ramos, and certainly deserves it, and a great group of guys that he has. But for Vancouver, wow, what a turnaround for Vancouver. I mean, they could be, the biggest turnaround of the year, the biggest surprise of the year. What a great winning streak that they had after having such a 4-game losing streak. So yeah, just a lot of fairy tale things happening here in Mexico City once again in the championship game.
Liam, what did you think of this ball game? Liam, are you with us?
Yep.
Nope.
Can you hear me? Hello?
Yes. Yeah.
Sorry, I think my mic must have been muted. This game could be summed up in 2 words, and that's Ray Bentley. He's just been a machine all season, and it was again in this game. 236 yards rushing for Mexico City, and much of those yards came from him. He will be absolutely key it will be the absolute key to the championship game for Mexico City. But yeah, as Stephen says, they've got power in the running game and the passing game, and that's really one of the most important things in the SFL. Is being able to have that flexibility where you're not too reliant on a particular thing. The rushing game's really become in vogue, as it were. Probably popularized by what Queen City have done, since the beginning of last season and maybe even before that. But certainly, with the way that Ray's been playing, you're probably going to see even more people go towards having that really, really strong running back in seasons going forward from now. So it'll be interesting to see how exactly people look at their builds and look at how they're going to implement that into that. Only time will tell whether or not we will see any shifts in the way that people look at how they manage their teams going forward. But in terms of Vancouver, Andy will obviously be disappointed. You know, he's probably had this week off the podcast just to avoid having any salt rubbed in the wounds, I think. But you know, it's been a good year for Vancouver. Another expansion team. We've had 2 expansion teams get into the championship game. One in the Western Conference, one in the Eastern Conference, and you know, they did so well to push this into overtime. But I think Mexico City were just far too tough a challenge, and the way that Ray Bentley kind of manhandled them from time to time in this game, they did well just to get it into overtime, I think. So
Mexico City coming into this game, well, as this game, you know, kind of progressed, Mexico City took the early lead. Vancouver fought back valiantly to take the lead with a little under 3 minutes left, I believe, in the game. They were winning 20-17, and all they had to do, like that's an easy task. All they had to do was stop the Aztecs from crossing midfield, and Matt Wilson was able to string some plays together to put them in a position to, you know, to kick that, you know, to kick and tie the ball game to send it into overtime. And then the overtime, it was kind of a flip of the coin-ish. And then once Mexico City, you know, was able to matriculate the ball down the field, it was pretty much all she wrote with the star kicker. Yeah, man, like I will echo everybody else's sentiments. Ray Bentley is an animal, and he is the engine, the wheels, the transmission, the gas pedal, the steering wheel that make the Aztecs go. Like, he is it. You know, Matt Wilson gets to pick his spots where he has to, you know, kind of like tear the shirt open so you can see the S on his chest kind of thing from time to time. But it's not where Matt Wilson has to carry the team. He just has to, you know, manage here, manage there. And if you could, you know, create a big play for us here and there, go ahead and do so. And he's been doing it all season long. Vancouver, Tom Pepper. Andy has proven me wrong, because coming to the season, Andy and I was going back and forth about the values of having a bronze level quarterback, and I was trying to warn him that I lived through the Murdoch Mock experience last season.
Mock.
It's not one that it's not one that I wished upon anybody, and that's why I was like, I be careful with the bronze, and to you know, to he made it work. Ramos made it work. So hey, congrats to both of these guys for their successful seasons. Though Andy's is now done, he got to the conference championship game, man. That's darn good for year one. Ramos is back in the title game. Hopefully this time it could go his way. So congrats to that. And speaking of Ramos, what'd you feel going into this game? What were you expecting, and what did it play out the way you thought it would?
Yes, it did. Yes, it did play out the way I thought. Well, I wanted it to be, because I said, you know, prior to the game, we are going to win or lose this game by running the football. I mean, we are not really going to pass the ball deep a lot like we normally do, because they do have a couple of extremely talented safeties in Carter and Hamilton, and they have the corners, Dunkley. I mean, they have a very talented secondary. So I said, you know, if we are going to win this game or lose this game, it's going to be by running the football. And that's what we did. We just kept feeding Bentley to the outside, to the inside, to the left, to the right. And thankfully it worked. It worked for the most part. There were some plays where obviously they were able to stop us behind the line of scrimmage, but for the most part, Ray Bentley was able to get his yards, something that he did not get in our last matchup against Vancouver. And that's the reason why we got blown out in a sense, because Ray Bentley did not get going. It was just he got stuffed, and that's why we lost by like 20 points that game. So just very happy on the way it played out on defense, and that was the thing. On defense, it was for me to stop Sanchez, and then just put a safety over the top so Kate Stevens or those guys did not beat us deep. And again, it worked because 20 points only allowed to Vancouver in 5 quarters. I'll take that. So in the SFL, if you stop a team to 20 points or less, it's the job of the offense to get 20 plus points to win the ball game, and you cannot ask much more for a defense against the Vancouver Legion team. So one play that was really, really huge in the game was late in the fourth quarter when they were driving. They get a pass deep, and they get it like at the 3-yard line or something, and they run a play, we stop it, and then we get a sack at the goal line by our linebacker Jack Brown and the linebacker blitz, and they lost like 12 yards on that play, and they had to kick a field goal, and that was a huge difference in the ball game. So it did plan out the way I thought and I wanted it to be. So very happy to be in the championship game one more time.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. And speaking of the championship game, it is set. It's going to happen Wednesday, October 25th at, let me get this correctly, at 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Central on Twitch. We'll have the Mexico City Aztecs and the Chicago Wildcats playing for all the marbles. I didn't know we were playing for marbles, but apparently we are. So they're playing for all the marbles that evening. Winner takes all. Loser goes home fishing. That is happening again October 25th at 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 Central, the championship game. Oh, did I say it's going to be live on Twitch? I didn't. It's going to be live on Twitch. We're going to be featured on the front page. So please just avail yourself to those. Before I move on to the next bit of affairs, I'm going to throw each of you gentlemen a little curveball. Ramos, or you as well. One player to keep your eye on in the championship game, and give me a sentence or two why. We're going to start with the head roughneck. Steven, who you like? One player to watch, championship game?
Championship game, Matt Wilson, quarterback for Mexico City. I believe that Chicago will key on Ray Bentley. They will key their defense to stop the run and force Wilson to go to his other offensive weapons to beat them.
Fair enough. Liam, one player to watch. Couple of sentences why.
Ray Bentley, a titan in the SFL, the absolute altered beast of running backs this season. He will decide the game one way or another. If he suddenly starts to falter, Mexico City could have trouble on their hands. But if he plays to anywhere near his full potential, then Mexico City should be celebrating the title win by the end of the day.
Very good, very good. One player to watch for me is Mr. Deion Hawkins, running back, Chicago Wildcats. We already know E.T. King is the reigning MVP. He's looking like he might be. We have two MVP candidates facing off in this championship ball game between Ray Bentley and E.T. King. So Deion Hawkins is going to be the X factor to me because we know what ET is going to bring to the ball game. He's a very good decision maker. Rarely makes, the boneheaded throw. Can they have balance to force the Aztecs to remain honest defensively? And if they do, Deion Hawkins is the reason why they have balance, both running the ball and maybe attacking, certain areas of Mexico City's defense that they feel are weak. So he's going to be that guy. He's the X factor. If he has a good game, Chicago has a very good chance to win. If he doesn't, they might be what's that? Up the creek without a paddle. That's the saying. Yeah. So
that's the one.
Deion Hawkins for me. Ramos, one player, X factor.
As an X factor, I will pick a player for both teams. I will be fair. For us, for the Mexico City Aztecs, it will be DeJon Swan, our wide receiver number 13. The Mustard Bird, and for the Wildcats, it's going to be Shan Varner, the tight end. I think that we need to just keep an eye on Sham Varner. He has like fallen off the radar a little bit because they look more for their wide receivers or Deion Hawkins. But Sham Varner is still a star tight end, so we'll be keeping an eye on number 88.
Very good, very good, very good. And yeah, it's just a little tease. We're gonna have a full breakdown coming up next week of the championship game and who we like in the ball game and why. So just want to tease y'all a little bit with that. We're gonna touch upon the upcoming broadcast schedule for the SFL. On Monday the 16th. Let me see if I can pull up this graphic right quick for y'all while I'm talking. On Monday the 16th at 8 p.m. Central, we're going to have a season 10 reveal. What will be revealed, I can't tell y'all. I just need y'all to tune in and trust your boy, because your boy rarely leads you wrong unless he's picking a game. Then he's always wrong. That's neither here nor there. So season 10 reveal Monday night, 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 Central. Please avail yourself to that, because there's some big information and big news that was going down that evening, as well as we're going to have our SFL Honor Show, where we'll be, kind of crowning MVP, the Offensive Player of the Year, Coach of the Year, Game of the Years kind of things. Those are happening October 19th at 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 Central. October 19th is a Thursday night. So please, please, please make sure you avail yourselves to those as well. Speaking of, if you haven't chimed in to vote, for your Coach of the Year and your MVPs and all that good stuff, get into that honors channel. Place your vote. Every vote matters. Every vote counts. We'll have the expansion winners on Monday, October 23rd at 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 Central. So we have a bunch of candidates that are trying to join this fraternity we have of owners, multiple. Liam Crowder is one of them. He's the London bid. Man, I read that packet, Liam. That was very well executed. Hey, if I need someone to put something together, I'm definitely coming your way. So we will present those to y'all on Monday, the 23rd, again at 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 Central. On Tuesday, October 24th is Media Day, 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 Central. We're gonna have basically gonna be blowing out, leading into the championship ball game, which is October 25th at 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 Central on Twitch. That is the broadcast schedule for the festivities coming up, and our season wrap up and going into our big time season 10, where there will be some changes to improve the league. With all that said, we're going to leave y'all with a nice little note. We each have our own selection for play of the year. A kind of play that stood out amongst all the other great plays that transpired this season. We're going to start with Steven. Steven, what is your submission for play of the year? What play captivated your heart so that it was etched in your memory banks for eternity?
Yeah, well, this is totally coincidental, but my play of the year took place in week 4, and we happen to have both owners of those teams in here with us right now. Alaska at Mexico City. Second quarter of that game, Ray Bentley absolutely destroys an Alaskan linebacker. Bo Jackson trucking Brian Bosworth style for a 40-yard touchdown run. Cam lost his mind. He was on the call, calling it a crime, actually, what happened. And it's very rare that we can see a linebacker get trucked the way that this guy was just exploded. I was surprised that he kept his helmet on. We often see running backs like Ray Bentley destroy defensive backs or cornerbacks. This was a linebacker. This guy looked like 250, 260 pounds, and he got thrown around like a rag doll. And not just that on the run. He not only blew that guy up, but he broke another tackle to get in the end zone. So Week 4, Alaska at Mexico City. Check it out. Second quarter, Ray Bentley destroys a guy.
Yeah. Thanks for rubbing that in, Steven. I appreciate it very much.
Sorry about that.
No, for real though. That when he dropped that shoulder and basically popcorned that defender. Popcorn is the term also old folk use. You know, they used to play Tecmo because when defender used to get trucked, did bobble on the field like when you see popcorn inside a popcorn machine, just the same way. Anyways, that's neither here nor there. I'm old, okay? Don't mind me.
Yeah.
But yeah, like that. Ramos, your submission, my good sir, for play of the year.
I will be a homer in this case. I will go with my team, and I will go with Richard Montague catching the Hail Mary to win against the Renegades, because that play was the difference between us getting the number 1 seed and potentially number 3 or even number 4 seed in the playoffs. So that home field advantage was just huge for us. And I said Oklahoma City was San Antonio. I'm sorry. Anyway, that play was just huge on our season to just keep it going and get an 8-4 record at the end of the year. So I will go with that play.
Awesome. Liam, what was your submission for play of the year?
And it's brought in touchdown Mexico City. Last play of the game. It's gotta be the same one. Richard Montague. Just an unbelievable call on that play as well. And it really, I don't think anybody's seen anything like that in the SFL before. Literally ticking down. I mean, Mexico City could have lost that game right before that when the call was made that it was out of bounds just on the play prior to that. So, yeah, it just San Antonio as well had just risen up against such adversity as well. They were not in great shape at that point, coming up against Mexico City, and to have gone so far, and it could have gone the other way. It could have gone in their favour down to the dying seconds. I think he had like 30 points or something in the last couple of minutes. So, yeah, Mexico City are the clear winners of the play of the year, in my opinion. I will give a shout out to Adam Fennell breaking off a big touchdown run in our game against the St. Louis game against Cleveland. Broke through a few tackles, doing a bit of a Ray Bentley impression. So give him a bit of a shout out there too.
My play of the year happened in a game that featured 128 passing attempts. Both teams combined for well over 1,200 yards of offense. One of the weirdest games I've ever watched too, because one of the teams decided not to run the ball. Not even once, the whole game. It was one carry by the fullback. I'm sorry. One carry. Yeah, and that was the San Antonio Vaqueros. I finally said it right, Ramos.
Yes, you did.
Against the Vancouver Legion, where the Legion won on a safety. Now, I had to give the defense some love. All you guys loving all these offensive players. Trucking one, toe dragging the other. No. We're going to end the game my way on a safety. The game was won. It was crazy. Like San Antonio, they ran the ball once that whole game. The fullback ran the ball for 3 yards. Mind you, they have one of the most electrifying runners in Jason German back there. That game, they refused to give him the ball. They were trying to feature Joey Langdon, who had 70 passing attempts, which was something ridiculous. I believe he set the league records for interceptions as well, with 9. But still, even with 9 interceptions, they were still in the ball game with a chance to win in overtime. And the Legion said, enough's enough. And they got that sack in overtime to win the game 51-49. I just realized that we've just shown the Western Conference a lot of love in these play of the years. I'm pretty sure there were some very good plays in the Eastern side, but I don't remember any of them. So I'm sorry. With that being said, gentlemen, if y'all have anything else to add, now is the time.
No,
Liam?
looking forward to seeing what transpires over the next couple of weeks, and it's going to be week and a bit to get to the championship game, but there's a lot coming up league-wise, so be sure to tune in on Monday. I'm excited to see what's going to be announced. I could, stuff like this, surprise announcements. I was involved with one with the league website, new league website that came out last season, and it was a big, it set the stage for stuff like the Twitch deal that we've got now for championship games. So stuff like this can only be good for the league. And I know that Cam will love to have everybody online and on watching on YouTube to see what exactly comes out.
Steven?
Sorry about that. Had it muted. Yeah, we've got some exciting things coming up as a league this week. I know that there's a little extra time, more than normal, when we have the championship game. So it's not this Wednesday, but the following. But we've got plenty of things going on league-wise. If you are a prospective user, if you are a current user and have a player, if you want a player, the reveal that's coming up on Monday is an absolute must come and see what that's about. I mean, I think it's going to blow your mind. When it comes to the upcoming SFL honors, I know that the league has planned to honor more than just players that are currently in the league. So there's a little hint there that it's worth coming to if you're not on the list or don't have someone, you're not on a team that's on one of the candidates. It's worth coming and seeing that because it's not only going to talk about our future but our history and honor some of those guys. So I think it's going to be well worth your time on that as well. And the expansions, I think you're going to be surprised with some of these expansions. Not only on who's chosen, but the creative things that these guys have done to try and get our attention. And some very much like Liam, he came up with a great. I don't know, Liam. What do you call that? It's a PDF, but it's a.
It's our official bid document.
Yeah.
I might release it publicly, but at the moment it's just with all of the owners. But I mean, I've been saying it in chat just to take off a bit of a tangent. Sorry, Stephen.
Go ahead.
The one of the things I've been seeing with guys coming into the league is like, maybe I'm not necessarily got the experience or to be an owner, or we've not had enough time in the league. Now, when I came into the league, and this was only about 6 or 7 months ago, so I came in during halfway through season 8, and just put a bid in, joined St. Louis, and got some experience with just things in general. Learned a lot from Dwayne and Colin, and put my own bid in, and we ran successful. And I know speaking from some of the guys, I think it was a close run thing between me and Andy when it came to Vancouver. But you look at the way that Vancouver have performed this season, and I can honestly say that having that experience with the bid there has certainly given me a foundation to go on for this season. So even if you don't think you're quite ready, or you don't think you will necessarily get the team, put a bid in. It builds up your reputation. It gets your name in the owner's headlights, as it were. So it gives you a bit of a reputation in the league. And if you put the effort in, it can lead to bigger and better things. And the league is looking to expand further. It says on the application document. But just giving the owners as many options as possible and giving them as many names as possible to see who exactly is interested, that can be an important thing for them to see just how much interest there is in our league. And, it could be anybody. It could be the owners decide to go for me. They could decide to go for another prospective owner. It's all about just putting in the effort in and just building the interest in the league and opening it up to different markets. So I'm excited to see what happens. And I think the good thing about all of the expansion bids is we're always very open to each other. So like I've been speaking with James Richards and supporting James on his social media, and he's been doing support on mine, and we've all been kind of doing it as a collaborative process. It's a competition in one sense, but it's also about building each other up so that next season we've all got a good reputation and can build on from there. So
yeah, and from an owner's point of view, which the majority of us here are, we've got some really quality candidates this year, and a lot of choices, honestly. And whether you're brand new to the league or you've been here a long time and this isn't your first bid, everyone's going to get a chance to have their say, to put in their bid to impress us. And I as an owner have had my mind changed before, just based on the questions and how they answered our questions and things like that. So, yeah, Liam's absolutely right. If you're interested in joining us, it's a great fraternity. It's a wonderful group to be a part of, very supportive and really, honestly, loving group. When one of us goes through tragedy, it feels like we all do, and we're all supportive of each other. So. And one last thing, because I know we're going a little long here, but the championship game, I can't express how important it is that we get behind, all of us, get behind advertising and attending and getting others to attend this championship game that's on Twitch. Being on the front page of Twitch can be a game changer for our league and get us attention like we've never had before. And if we truly want quality individuals in this league, here is a great opportunity to grab a big old pool of them. So as we lead up to this championship game, try to do what you can to tell your friends, to go through social media and get your friends on Facebook and on Twitter, and just try to help the league push this as much as possible, because we all benefit from having great people like Liam, like Ramos Lynn, like Max in the league. All of us came through some miracle, we found each other, and all different ways. But some man told someone else, and we found out about this league, and we have a great opportunity to find a lot of others like us, like-minded people on this championship game.
Ramos, any last words?
No, I'm just very excited for this week. Not only the championship game, but everything that comes before it, in the announcements, and just the hype for the 25th of this month. We will prepare to go against the Wildcats, and hopefully we can get our first championship in team history.
Awesome. Well, folks, that's all for this week. So for Stephen Mullinax and Joey Lynn Ramos Joey Ramos. No, is Joey Lynn or Joey Ramos? I always got the.
Yeah, Joey Ramos. It's first Ramos and then it's Lynn.
You know what? Forget all that. For Ramos.
Or Joey Lynn or Ramos or.
You're making me think. It's too hard. My brain hurts. And for Liam Crowder.
Yeah.
This was Mighty RX, Max Paul, your usual flamboyant? No, I'm not flamboyant.
Sexy.
Yeah, that's flamboyant.
Oh,
yeah.
good grief. He said sexy again. You know what? I'll take it. Your usual sexy co-host. Yeah, we're putting a bow on this one. Hopefully next week Andy will be with us. He won't be on assignment again. And then we'll give y'all the next broadcast. We're going to give y'all some SFL honors and our own all-pro list. So until then, peace.
See you guys.